to Creative Chats. We're so glad to have you here today with us, Yasmine.
Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm Yasmine Dagher, I'm an architect. I'm one of the members of the Beirut Heritage Initiative, which is an initiative that was formed after the Beirut blast, and we tried to raise funds to restore the heritage buildings of Beirut, but also keep the families in their houses. And mainly for the past 5 years, I've been working on heritage preservation, but also as an architect on some contemporary projects. So.
Oh, wow, that is quite an honorable role to take. And,
Thank you.
So how did you stumble upon this, or what path you took to get you here today?
So, of course, as an architect, that made the choice of staying in Lebanon. And mainly I'm from Beirut, my family is from Beirut, so I grew up here in the city. I don't have any Daya village. I fell in love very naturally with heritage when I was a kid, because I grew up in a heritage house, which is my grandfather's house. And I never understood that it was really something that we needed to preserve until I started being an architect, like studying architecture. I never thought that there was a threat to heritage preservation. And then the blast really, like, we realized very quickly that if no action was going to be taken from the civil society, we would have lost most of our heritage buildings to real estate speculation and real estate investors, actually, because unfortunately the Beirut master plan makes it that we can build the most in the oldest city. Yeah. So all of our buildings, heritage buildings, which are composed of 2 floors, 3 floors max, could be destroyed, and we would have a tower replacing it. So yeah, this is how, like, the idea behind BHI came to heritage preservation. And of course, for me, like, being from Beirut and being from Gemmayzeh, one of the neighborhoods that was affected, I needed to do something for my community and for my neighborhood to try to preserve as much as possible.
Of course, and it's truly impactful that you need to give back and preserve. So what are the struggles that you face with the community, or with the practice that you do?
The main struggle is, I think, like, people didn't know about, like, the importance of heritage up until the blast. I think the blast it was a really bad experience for most of us, but it had one good impact, is that people started to realize that heritage is important, we need to preserve it. But a lot of people also didn't really care about this. Again, like real estate speculation, real estate investors, they wanted to buy. Like, we received a phone call for my grandfather's house 4 days after the blast.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember we were in a meeting, and then my dad's phone started to ring. He's like, could you take it? And I respond, and the guy was like, we know you have a house with a garden, etc. We wanted to know if you're interested in selling it. And we had just finished cleaning up the house. The house was completely destroyed, but like I couldn't believe what I was hearing, you know. So
the quick
turnover, like, people
yes.
didn't care about the human side of it, you know. Like,
yes.
They didn't even ask, like, are you guys alive?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You know, nothing. Yeah. No, like, I want to buy your house.
Yeah.
And it was really like a shock for us. And like, it's my family's house. All of us in our family were aligned, like, we want to restore. At the time, we wanted to restore, and we want to preserve this house because we all grew up in it. So for us, selling it was not an option. But with the economic crisis, I think that a lot of people could not, like, envision a scenario where they would restore their house or even keep it, because they didn't have the means, and they even, like, some people sold their house. Now, there's a good and bad side to it, because there's a lot of projects which were done after the blast with new owners, but they preserved the house and they actually made it better.
Yeah.
But there's projects also, like, new people, new owners that destroyed.
They don't have the history and
they don't actually, like, they don't have the incentive, or like, sure. they're not sensitive to keeping it, you know. They don't really care. For them, having an old house is not an asset. Destroying it, building 20 stories building is more of an asset for them. So yeah. So I think that this was the most,
Absolutely, I can see. So what does space mean to you, if you know, in that context, you know?
There is no definition for space, I think. It's not a room, it's not a street, it's more like a neighborhood and everything that composes like the space, you know, like here we're in the space, we have a part of an old wall, but also a new structure, but we are enclosed in a space, but for me, I don't think that we're here, I think we're in this building and I don't know, it's a weird question, but yeah, what does space mean to me? Yeah, I think it's mostly like, a lot of spaces are based on memories.
Yes.
Even if it's not there, like I can remember something from this building, but it's not here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when you discover a space at first, it's always, it can be a nice surprise, and it can be also a bad surprise.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to, I'm just asking from perspective of first understanding the space and then the city. How does the city of Beirut play a role in your practice, or the community?
Yeah.
So in that relationship, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely being from Beirut made a huge impact in my career. Yes. Because I grew up here, I grew up in the Jemaise neighborhood, so for me, like, my career was unfortunately shaped because of the Beirut blast.
Yes.
But I made the choice, like a lot of people, and I understand completely, they made the choice to leave. I made the choice to stay and to help my community and my city and try to make it better, or like make it a bit functioning, because it wasn't really functioning after the blast. Like everyone, like the spaces were dead, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And also like trying to preserve the memory of all of this, because it's not only preserving buildings, it's also preserving history, stories. Like yesterday night I was walking in the street and there's a small shop that's been open since I was a kid, and even more than that. And the guy was like, you know, I remember when I was a kid, on the corner of your house there used to be a laundry shop. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And you know, it's stories like that makes like, it makes you appreciate some spaces more than...
Absolutely, yes,
yeah.
Exactly. To someone else it might mean
nothing. Yeah.
But to you it has...
To me because I'm, first of all, from this neighborhood, yes. But also I'm very attached to my city. Even if it was a story that was not in my neighborhood, in another neighborhood, I think that like stories, they carry the memory of what those neighborhoods lived.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth a shot trying to preserve them, like through buildings and through people.
So what excites you in your practice? I know we were talking a little bit about maybe the ugly side of it, but maybe from the other angle.
I think that the way people are currently like changing their habits into like considering heritage as an important part, or even a lot of people, like they romanticize heritage buildings, the 3 arches, the red roofs,
yes.
etc., which I totally understand. They're very nice buildings, but what excites me actually is that people realize that it has a value, it's a treasure, you know, and there's still a big battle to win for heritage preservation, but heritage does not only stop at triple arches, stone houses, it's also everything that's modern, period. So buildings up until the 1960s, 1970s. And people are starting to really realize that, okay, we have a heritage, there's a lot of heritage buildings in Beirut, you know. They go to Europe and they're like, oh, look how it's nice, it's old cities, etc.
Yeah.
And now I think they're starting to realize that we do have this in Beirut, even though it's chaotic because you have towers next to small houses and gardens and everything.
It looks different.
But this is what makes Beirut, you know, like even like not just in our architecture, but in the community and the people, like
100%.
It's a bit chaotic, but it's very nice.
I love it personally. I feel like it's living, you know, it's a real real.
Yeah, it's alive, and every person that's not Lebanese and comes to visit it comes back again to visit and visit, because they're always like, they get attracted to the vibe that Lebanon has. And
yeah. So how do you feel like how do you maintain the local fabric of the city, but still have more connection to global reach?
Yeah. It's a thing I never thought as an architect I would be doing, like keeping the local fabric in its neighborhoods, because as an architect I'm supposed to be designing new things, and when you design new, you automatically remove everything that was before, so community, building, history. But actually everything is related. It's not just from an economical point of view that I can preserve the local community, but also from an architectural point of view and from an awareness point of view. So right after the blast, we started doing those short videos to encourage owners and residents, because some of them are not owners, but they are residents of the neighborhood, to not abandon their house. They could not live in them because it was really destroyed, but not like go and abandon, try to get actually help, ask around, and lots of NGOs helped a lot of people. And right now, I cannot say that the neighborhoods have not been changed. Like, there's a lot of people that left, there's a lot of people that stayed, but I think that the identity and the community and the ideas of the community that lived here 6 years ago are still here now. So global outreach played a positive role in that, because we used new tools that weren't here like 20, 30 years ago, social media.
Of course.
To try to like get an awareness message to anyone, owner, tenant, architects, NGOs that wanted to help, even international donors. Like, some of them reached out to us, not us as Beirut Heritage Initiative, but like people helping out other people on the ground, thanks to social media and awareness campaign.
Yeah, so we are living in the digital age. So
yeah, we definitely are.
And there is positive to that, to get our message across and the right narrative. So how do you feel about the creative ecosystem right now in 2025?
Yeah, I do feel that not social media, but like everything related to AI or other stuff might not steal jobs, but like might depreciate an artist's work.
Yes.
Because I can create a building, it can take 2 months, whereas someone goes on AI and he's like, I want this and that, and in less than a minute he already has the whole thing.
Does it work though with architecture? I mean,
some people think it does. I do not use AI, but like it could work, But I think that there's always like the personal touch that AI might not get.
Absolutely, I think the idea itself is coming from a human.
Yeah, but it does. It's not just in architecture. It's like for artists, for musicians, for photographers, for sure. Everything. It's like horrible because digital age brings this new tool and everyone is using it.
Abusing it.
Yes. Yeah, abusing it. And I'm not very comfortable with like what the future holds in terms of digital.
I think a lot of artists feel this way because, or creatives, just for the sheer fact that it's too quick and it doesn't have there's no copyright or anything this way that supports the artist in their work. So I fully agree. I didn't ask you what made you decide to study architecture? Was it the love of?
I come from a family of architects and artists, so I actually was trying to avoid this path. When I graduated from school, I was like, no, I cannot be an architect. I've seen how my family, like, how's their life, they're always working, etc. And but I grew up in this, and I was like, my father used to take me with him on site constructions, and my mom, she's a designer, so every time she used to design stuff, I used to see them. So it kind of was already in me.
Yes.
And I actually started doing agribusiness at AUB.
Okay.
But I remember like the first semester I used to go back to my friends who were studying architecture, interior architecture, etc. And I used to help them out with their projects because I actually liked it.
Yeah.
And this is where I realized, okay, no, I should maybe change path and accept the fact that I can be an architect. And yeah, this is it. My father wasn't very happy. He's like, but you know, we work all the time and very tiring, and like clients, they can drain you sometimes, but some projects are exciting. And like, yeah, but I like that. And yeah, it has been a very difficult path, but it's something I actually like. I'm definitely, if I wasn't working in architecture, it would have been something creative like music or photography, but definitely creative path.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you grew up in a household that was surrounded by creativity, I think it comes naturally to you that you would take this path. But, so what does creativity mean to you? If you could describe it in a word or a sentence.
Very difficult question.
Yeah. I mean, it could be.
I don't think it's easy to go into a creative path. I think that the start of any creative path, if you're a painter, a photographer, or a ceramist, or whatever, graphic designer even, it takes a lot of time because you need to find your own identity at the beginning, you know, like what makes you special compared to other architects in my field, for example. But I think that resilience would be a word I would use, because it takes time to get there, to find your own identity in terms of creativity. But when you finally find it, it's after, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's months, sometimes it's years of learning and trying. And
it truly is a path you take that is a reflection, and you constantly have to reflect with yourself.
Yeah.
And
sometimes your identity in your work changes, actually. Like, you used to do something and now you like doing other things. So yeah, it grows with you. But if you're still doing it a few years after you started it, then definitely resilience is the word I would be using.
Well, it also ties into the work that you do, which is very resilient and you know, preserving all this history. And so can you talk to us a little bit about the talk that you had earlier, designing in the aftermath. In the aftermath.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was approached by the team at Creative Dialogues, I think 2 months ago approximately, for this talk because of my impact through Beirut Heritage Initiative, which is designing in the aftermath of the blast.
Yes.
But when I first met the other panelists and Sherbil, the other speakers, and Sherbil, who was the panelist, we decided collectively that we wouldn't only be talking about the Beirut blast, because it's an event that still marks a lot of people, because it's only been 5 years.
Very
and
dramatic,
I think as long as there's no accountability and justice, it will still be the talk of the town. But creating in the aftermath of multiple events that happened in Lebanon in the past just 50 years, for example, or even 100 years. 100 years ago, Lebanon was passing from the Ottoman Empire to the French Mandate. So that meant designing with new techniques, for example, because Ottoman architecture was made out of stones. French Mandate concrete was introduced. And then when Lebanon finally took its independence in 1943, they wanted also to do create new designs in the aftermath. Let's forget about French Mandate and Ottoman and go into modernity and being open to the world, which is great, because it's always design, I think, follows some things. Like we talked about AI before. A lot of people now use AI to showcase their design, and that thing wouldn't have existed 10 years ago.
Absolutely, you need to evolve, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, the designing in the aftermath for Lebanon, I think, is very relatable, because we have so many events that happened in the past century. Absolutely. Like civil war, economic crisis. And I think for the blast, Beirut blast, it's not only designing in terms of after the Beirut blast, but also an economic crisis and COVID. Those 3 events came in the same year.
Yes.
And
had some tough times.
It's very tough times, yeah. we're survivors because like we're still here after all of this.
Yes. What would you like the audience to take from this talk that that we've had when you had your panel discussion?
Some positivity.
Yes.
Not we shouldn't take it in a negative way, honestly. Like
sure.
Like we're all here trying to rebuild the country after years of denial and war and just anything, and we should, I think a lot of people would tell you, oh, I've been positive and everything and now I don't want anymore, but I think that we should just keep on being positive and hopeful for everything, like a better Lebanon.
Definitely, it's all a mindset, you know.
Yeah.
Whether if you have the right mindset, then you can succeed in life and have a
yeah, exactly. No, I'm really glad I could take part of this because like I think that it's the first time I hear about creative dialogues. I know it's the second edition, but not the first one. But I've seen the events that are around this whole weekend, which is great because it tackles a lot of creative paths for once. And I'm really glad to have participated in such a conversation because it's subjects that are important for like the survival of anything, our city, our economy, etc. But
yes, it's very important for us to not only give a voice to us, to our in the Middle East, in the Arab world. I feel like there's so many creatives, but maybe we don't have the opportunity to meet all together and discuss such issues or other, just have an open dialogue, really, that could flourish in a fruitful way.
Yeah.
So that's
the next edition is in Cairo, which is great.
Yes.
Like, but definitely, like doing this type of thing more is highly recommended because like there's so many creative people in the MENA region and we don't know about them because like you have the censorship and then you have the outreach and you have multiple obstacles that come through. And definitely if there had to be another creative dialogues in Lebanon, like
there will be, we will come every year. So we
try to reach other cities, maybe, you know, like because there's so many artists and creatives in smaller cities, not Beirut, because Beirut is the capital and everyone knows, but definitely like, you know, in Trablus, in Saida, in Bet el-Din, anything, like you'll find people everywhere. They just don't have the proper means to get out there.
That's a really good point to make, actually. So we can maybe look into it. But thank you so much, Yasmine. It was a real pleasure to see.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.